What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's fight in Manchester, England between Joe Cordina and Jaret Gonzalez. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? And right now, go down to the bottom of your screen, find the little bell so you could be notified every time I put something out that's new. Thank you. All right, guys, our travels this week in boxing took us last night to Turkey. We saw a huge upset. Jaret Dickens proving the bookies wrong, going into Istanbul as close to a 6-1 dog and knocking out the previously undefeated Russian Albert Badargaziev in the 4th round in dominant fashion, proving once again that you can't always bet on the young gold medal Olympians against the older seasoned veterans. We actually saw this happen just a couple weeks ago when Galal Yafai, the undefeated gold medal Olympian, lost to Francisco Rodriguez Jr. So hats off to Jaret Dickens. I bet against you. I picked Badargaziev, but I'm always happy to admit when I was wrong, and I definitely did not see that one coming. Moving forward this weekend, we've already covered the main event, Jack Catterall and Harlem Eubank. If you haven't checked out my prediction and breakdown of that video, it's tagged in this one, so watch that after this one. Also, right now in the comment section, who do you like in the main event? Do you think Catterall gets it or Harlem Eubank? But today we're featuring the co-main, the return of a former world champion, Joe Cordina. We know he was a champion at 130 pounds. He's moving up to 135 to take on, and I'm being very diplomatic with this, an unknown Mexican fighter named Jarrett Gonzalez. Guys, you have to survey, search, seek, hunt out throughout the internet to find anything on Jarrett Gonzalez. Go to his Instagram. Just started one. No training of him. Go to YouTube. I found 2 fights, both grainy. One was a Muay Thai fight, and the other, the only boxing match I could find, was from 2020 when he won via first round knockout. This is a first for me in terms of featuring on the channel a fighter in which I can't find any fight tape. So bear with me when we get to the segment of the video when I try to break down this guy's style. I know what I know about him. I found what I found about him. So if you guys know anything that I don't mention about Gonzalez, let me know in the comment section below. Today, we are going to look at both guys' careers. We're going to talk about how they go about their business. Stay tuned. At the end of the video, like always, I'm going to be going over the Las Vegas odds. I'm going to give you my prediction and tell you where to put your money. All right, guys, Joe Cordina is a former world champion. We know when you look at his career, 17-1, 1 loss. He's coming off a tough loss to Anthony Kakachi at 130 pounds, in which Kakachi took the belt from him, and we know that that loss has aged well since then. Kakachi vacated, didn't choose to fight Sugar Nunes, but chose to fight Lee Wood, and he stopped a very tough Lee Wood. With Cordina, he feels that he wants to rewind the clock a bit in terms of moving up a weight class. This guy had a stellar amateur career, started his career the first half at 135 before he went down to 130, and a lot of times you see with fighters when they're trying to figure things out, former champions who want the belt back, they sometimes will move up, and we're seeing this with Cordina. In his opponent, Jaret Gonzalez, like I said, 17-1, 24 years old. His one loss, he got stopped all 8-rounders. He's an 8-rounder guy, but one thing I should mention, a caution to you bettors. We know what's happened recently when we see Mexicans coming over to the UK, especially when they're the B-side. Go all the way back to Mauricio Lara versus Josh Warrington, and more recently with Francisco Rodriguez Jr. upsetting Galal Yafai. So just keep that in mind. The odds are insane when we get to that segment of the show, and maybe on our live stream today, I'll get into maybe some prop bets, over and unders. We'll see. So just stay tuned to the channel. Right now, I do want to remind everybody what's at stake this weekend in Manchester. All right, guys, former IBF super featherweight champion Joe Cordina will return to the ring to fight Mexico's Jaret Gonzalez at lightweight. The 33-year-old lost his title to Anthony Kakachi in a surprise defeat in Saudi Arabia 13 months ago. The Welsh boxer had been due to make his comeback against Shakur Stevenson in October, but the WBC lightweight champion pulled out with a hand injury. Cordina's return to lightweight, where he won British and Commonwealth titles earlier in his career, will come on the undercard of Jack Catterall against Harlem Eubank. Gonzalez, 24 years old, has a 17-1 career record, which includes 13 knockouts, similar to Cordina 17-1 with 9 knockouts, although not nearly at the same level. I should also mention Cordina for this camp has moved back to South Wales and will be training with Gary Lockett. Cardiff's Cordina was a decorated amateur boxer who fought in the Olympics and was on the same GB team as Anthony Joshua. He won a bronze at the 2014 Commonwealth Games and was the European Amateur Champion in 2015. After turning pro in 2017, he became Wales' 13th world champion boxer when he beat Kenichi Ogawa to claim the IBF Super Featherweight title in June 2022. He was stripped of that title when he was unable to defend it within a 90-day window after suffering a broken hand, but won it back with a hard-fought split decision win over Shotkajan Rakhimov in April 2023. He then made one successful title defense, a majority decision win over Edward Vasquez, before losing to Northern Ireland's Kakachi in May 2024. So we actually just saw Edward Vasquez. We featured him on the channel. He took on Rafa Espinoza, a very tough matchup at 126, and he got stopped. That's kind of how Espinoza goes about his business. He stops everyone as of late. Very fun fighter to watch. But with Cordina, he wants to put his name back into the world title picture. He has to get past an unknown Jaret Gonzalez, like I said. In terms of boxing skill, resumes, what you see, what each fighter has done, it's going to be tough to kind of pick against Cordina, but you know, you got to give it to Gonzalez, at least for having the unknown X factor. Right now, let's take a look at Gonzalez and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Jaret Gonzalez Quiroz is 17-1 with 13 knockouts out of 2,586 fighters in the world at 135 pounds. He's ranked 162. He's fought a career total of 76 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 76% career knockout to win ratio. The Mexican was born and raised in Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, Mexico. We last saw him fight Oscar Gutierrez 7-7, stopped him in the 4th. Hernandez 4-14, UD in the 8th. Marquez 8-1, stopped him in the 7th. Gonzalez 3-13, stopped him in the 6th. Nolasco 7-30, stopped him in the 5th. And then guys, the fight before that, he suffered his only knockout loss in another 8-rounder. Go to his box rec right now. Put your hand up, message me, email me, and let me know if you've ever heard of anyone that he's ever fought. Also, have you ever seen him fight? This is kind of the interesting thing. I kind of take pride on my channel and doing my film study, doing my research, but you can't find him training. You can't find videos of him online. Like I said, he's a bit of a paradox. All we could go off of is that knockout to win ratio, the 17-1, and use our boxing acumen as fans of the sport to kind of understand and decipher who he's been fighting and what does that record, the weight of that record, really hold when you put it up against a former world champion of Joe Cordina. Right now, let's take a look at Cordina's resume and see what he's been up to. Guys, Cordina's 17-1 with 9 knockouts. He's not currently ranked on BoxRec's algorithm at 135 pounds. We do know he was a former world champion at 130. He's fought a career total of 113 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 53% career knockout to win ratio. He's a 5'9" orthodox fighter with a 69-inch reach. He was born and raised in Cardiff, Wales, United Kingdom. We last saw him fight Kakachi 21-1. He got stopped in the 8th. That was his only loss. Vasquez 15-1. Majority decision in the 12th. Rakhimov 17-0, won a split decision in the 12th. Ogawa 26-1, stopped him in the 2nd. Kachatran 13-0, UD in the 10th. So if you look at his film study, I think when he's at his best, you look at when he won the world title against Ogawa. This is a guy that didn't just win the world title, he did defend it a couple different times, which says something. You don't always see that in this current landscape of professional boxing. The fight against Kakachi, like I said, he got stopped. It's his only loss. I like to side on the side of the winner. I think that loss says more on how good Anthony Kakachi is rather than Cordina having a bad night. It's a bad matchup for a lot of these fighters, and I'm really interested to see Kakachi as he takes on Ray Ford. So you have to stay tuned to the channel when we approach fight week to get my prediction on that fight. But when I look at these guys side by side, you can't even find Jaret Gonzalez's height and reach online. That is insane, guys. Once again, this has never happened on the channel. I can't find his height and reach. And I want to let you guys know, I searched multiple websites. I know a lot of these fight websites use the algorithms based off of BoxRec. And sometimes when a fighter doesn't have the reach, I can still dig and find it. Gonzalez, I couldn't find anything. Not a lot of tape. Based on where these guys have been, where they're going in their career, my only hesitation, like I said, is as of late, historically, the Mexicans coming into the UK have been upsetting the odds. So it's something to think about. He's a huge underdog in this fight. I actually expect Cordina to have a little bit of ring rust early on. He hasn't been in the ring in a while, and we haven't seen him in the ring since the stoppage loss to Kakache. So you never know. It's kind of up in the air. If you're betting on it, considering the odds, let's get into that right now, and I'll tell you where I'm leaning. Before we continue, I want to let you guys know I do live streams every day. On those live streams, that's when we go over method of victories, over and unders, knockdown prop bets. But on these videos, these edited stats done live videos, if you're new to the channel, you're only going to get my money line bet. All right, guys, down here in Australia, I'm using a betting app called Sportsbet. So wherever you are, let's pull your betting apps out right now on the money line. Like I said, Joe Cordina is a huge favorite, $1 for. $100 on him gets you $4 in return. The draw is 33 to 1. Jarrett Gonzalez is a $14 underdog, meaning 100 on him, you get your money back plus $1,300. 13 to 1 dog, Jaret Gonzalez. When I'm picking a winner on this, I'm not going to pick against Cordina. Based off of what we know, what we've seen, where he's going, what this fight means to him. The only shocking thing about this matchup is the fact that we can't find anything on Gonzalez. So I'm going to be honest with you. Even though I'm picking Cordina to win at $1.04, I'm not probably going to bet on this fight. Not enough juice for the squeeze. And usually on my betting app, it doesn't even give me the option when the odds are this wide to even do any method of victories. But right now in the comment section below, let me know, do you think Cordina gets upset? Have you seen Jaret Gonzalez? Maybe you see something that I haven't. Maybe you have tape that I haven't seen. And if so, I'd like you to message me, because this is a first for the channel where the guy is pretty much an unknown and he's fighting in a co-main event. This is not an echo chamber, like I said. Who do you see winning this fight, Cordina or Gonzalez? Also, if you haven't seen my breakdown, prediction, and analysis of the main event between Catterall and Eubank, stay tuned to the channel because that's coming up right now. What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be going over the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's fight at 147 pounds in Manchester, England, between Jack Catterall and Harlem Eubank. Guys, before I continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Could you also like this video? And right now, go to the bottom of your screen, find the bell notification button, click that so you never miss a video. All right, guys, not the busiest week of boxing, but this is kind of the calm before the storm for the month of July. We know that this coming month is fully loaded. Our journey has taken us to Istanbul, Turkey, though. There are fights on tonight. The main event between Albert Batagaziev taking on the Brit Jaret Gonzalez. If you haven't seen my fight prediction and breakdown, that's tagged in this video in the comment section below. Does anyone see Jaza getting the victory over the undefeated gold medal Olympian from Russia? But in this video, it takes us to Manchester, England, an interesting fight at 147 pounds between Jack Catterall and Harlem Eubank. In this video, we're going to be going over both fighters' careers. We're going to talk a little bit about how they go about their business, the pros and cons of their style. And stay tuned to the end of the video, because that's where I'm going to be going over the Las Vegas odds. I'm also going to give you my prediction and telling you where to put your money. All right, guys, this is an interesting matchup between two Brits, in my opinion, a guy in Jack Catterall who should have been an undisputed champion with his first fight against Josh Taylor. It's not shocking to say that I think he kind of got robbed on the scorecards. We know it didn't go his way. He fought Taylor again and won the rematch, but Catterall has yet to find that world title strap around his waist. He's coming off of a loss against Arnold Barboza Jr. in a world title eliminator, and we know Barboza Jr. went on to fight Teofimo Lopez, and Lopez beat him. So that loss plus Josh Taylor the first time are the only two blemishes on Catterall's record. He's facing a Harlem Eubank guy who comes from a boxing family. It's no secret with his last name. He is the nephew of Chris Sr. and the cousin of Chris Jr. Whenever you have that last name Eubank, especially in the UK, you're going to have high hopes, high aspirations, and the people are going to be tuning in to this fight. So if anything, This is a litmus test, in my opinion, for Harlem. This will be his biggest step up in competition. We last saw him fight Tyron McKenna. He won that fight via stoppage, and after that fight, he actually called out Conor Benn. We know that fight is not going to materialize anytime soon because Ben and his cousin Junior are going for the rematch. When you look at Eubank's career thus far, this will be his third fight at 47. This will be Catterall's first fight at 47. It's something to think about. You can make what you want about the move up for Jack. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Is this a move out of desperation? Was he cutting too much weight at 40? Will he look better at 47? A lot of these questions will be answered on Fight Night. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at what's at stake this weekend in Manchester, England. All right, guys, Jack Catterall will face the undefeated Harlem Eubank in a welterweight contest at Manchester's AO Arena this weekend. Former world title challenger Catterall, 32, lost to Arnold Barboza Jr. in February, while fellow Brit Eubank, 31, has won all of his 21 fights since becoming pro in 2017. This is another huge domestic fight that I can really sink my teeth into, said Catterall. I'm eager to put on a big performance and make a statement in my first fight up at welterweight. The Eubank name is hot at the moment, but I'm ready to put a fire out in style. Eubank said, "This is a fight that's been on my radar for a long time, and I'm delighted it's finally happening. Jack is a world-class fighter, and in my view, and many others, a former undisputed champion. These are the elite level matchups I've been calling for, and make no mistake, I'm ready." Catterall missed out on becoming England's first male undisputed champion in the four-belt era when he lost to Taylor in 2022. Most ringside observers felt he should have been awarded the decision against the Scot. Catterall bounced back with a dominant win over Jorge Linares, gained revenge in a rematch with Taylor, and edged past Regis Prograis. He was one win away from a second world title shot, but came up short in a close fight against Barboza Jr. Eubank has built his name on free-to-air television, but has yet to fight anyone of Catterall's level. After his win over McKenna, he called for a fight with Conor Benn, who was beaten by Eubank Jr. last month. Harlem knows on a domestic level people know his name. He feels this is an opportunity, in his words, to beat a former undisputed world champion in Catterall. Guys, we know that's not what the history books will tell us, though. We know Catterall lost that fight. When I look at these guys and what's at stake, it's pretty interesting considering if Catterall goes in and beats Eubank, what are his naysayers going to say? If Catterall loses to Eubank, where does he go from here? I think it's a pretty risky fight in terms of risk versus reward and value for Catterall, considering that this is a guy who feels that he could mix it up with the best in the world and has shown that time and time again. Not yet at 147, but we'll see on the weekend. With Harlem, as of late, he keeps leveling up. If you ask me, I feel this is an example of a guy got into boxing late, we know that, but with each fight, he's showing me more and more. So right now, I want to remind everybody what Harlem Eubank has been up to in his career. Guys, Eubank is 21-0 with 9 knockouts out of 2,588 fighters in the world at 147. He's ranked number 20. He's fought a career total of 134 pro rounds and carries into the ring a 43% career knockout to win ratio. The 30-year-old Brit is a 5'8" orthodox fighter. He was born and raised in Brighton, Sussex, United Kingdom. We last saw him fight Tyron McKenna, 24-5, stopped him in the 10th. Erdogan, 16-3, won a UD in the 8th. Schwarzkopf, 22-5, stopped him in the 11th. Ellis, 14-6, stopped him in the 7th. Anton, 20-11, won a UD in the 10th. So even though he doesn't have a crazy knockout to win ratio, Eubank has stopped 3 out of his last 4 opponents. What does that tell you? Sitting on better shots, committing to his power even more. When you look at Harlem Eubank's style, he's going to have more volume than Jack Catterall. He's going to have a decent jab. He throws punches in bunches when he wants to. He's going to have an interesting matchup, though, facing a world-class level southpaw, like I already talked about. There's nobody even close to Eubank's resume that you can even compare Jack Catterall to. This will be the biggest win of his career, and I think already ranked number 20 on BoxRec's algorithm at 47. You'd have to think Eubank get a victory over Catterall. He might be in line for at least a title eliminator fight, all things considered. Right now, I do want to take a look at Catterall and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Catterall's 30-2 with 13 knockouts out of 2,588 fighters in the world at 147. He's ranked number 6. He's fought a career total 230 pro rounds and carries in the ring a 43% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as El Gato, and the 32-year-old Brit is a 5'7" southpaw with a 69-inch reach. He was born and raised in Chorley, Lancashire, United Kingdom. We last saw him fight Arnold Barboza Jr., 31-0, lost a split in the 12th. Prograis, 29-2, won a UD in the 12th. Taylor, the second time, 19-1, won a UD in the 12th. Linares, 47-8, won a UD in the 12th. Darragh Foley, 22-4, won a UD in the 10th. And the fight before that was his first loss against Josh Taylor in a very controversial decision. When you look at Jack Catterall's style, the way he goes about his business, he doesn't throw a lot of volume, but he's a smooth operator. He doesn't use the entire ring, but he does use his footwork to evade offense, and then he likes to counter. He has good hand speed. He doesn't have a high knockout to win ratio, but he does have power. He uses his timing to create his power. And when a lot of times he has an opponent who's going to be overly aggressive and gets caught out of position, Catterall will look to counter him. And this is where I feel he does his best work. He has a good jab. He uses it a lot. Like I said, he uses his timing and accuracy to win rounds rather than drown you with volume. So it's going to be an interesting matchup side by side. When I look at both guys side by side, Catterall and Eubank, the age is about similar, 32 and 31. The reach kind of cancels each other out as well. The ring experience, world champion pedigree, resumes, all of that goes to Catterall. You got to think about the confidence Catterall is taking into this fight. He wants the Eubank last name on his resume. Eubank is going to have a tough hill to climb in terms of getting in on Catterall and being able to outpoint him and outstrike him. Does he have the power to stop Catterall? I don't think so. I think, though, he's going to use his volume and he's going to use his punch output to make Jack uncomfortable. He's going to want to also be the more physical and more busier fighter, and we'll see if that's going to be enough in a 12-round fight to get the decision. Right now, I want to take a closer look at the Las Vegas odds. Guys, remember, on these videos, you're only going to get my money line prediction, but I go live every single day, so if you haven't hit the bell notification button to remind you when I go live, do that right now. In those live streams, I give you my prop bets. We build our week-long and month-long fight parlay. We talk about over and unders and knockdown props. So right All right, guys, the app I use down here, and I'll show you, is called Sportsbet. Jack Catterall is a $1.35 favorite, meaning you put $100 on Jack, you get your money back plus $35. The draw is 15-1. Eubank is a $3.50 underdog, meaning you put $100 on Harlem to win, you get your money back plus $250. So the odds makers have Harlem not quite as a 3-1 underdog. In my opinion, I think that these odds are a little bit kind towards Harlem Eubank. I know people like that undefeated record. I know that Chris Sr. is going to be in his corner. It's been well documented. We know Harlem has that last name, but at the end of the day, when that fight starts, only Harlem could fight his fights. He hasn't really been matched up against a guy like Jack Catterall. With Catterall, this is a high-level operator. He is world-class. And right now, I just don't think Harlem Eubank is world-class. I don't think he has the power to get Jack's respect, and I think Jack's slickness as a southpaw, his timing, his understanding of range, how he uses his footwork to evade and then counter, I think all of that is going to be too much. I fully expect Jack Catterall to get back on the winning track and put his name in a pot of a division at 147 that really isn't that deep. When you look at the title holders, you got Norman Jr., who's making waves as of late. You got Mario Barrios fighting Manny Pacquiao, and with the news that Boots is moving up to 54, you got to think that those two belts that he holds will be vacated. So with a victory for Catterall, like I said, I think it puts him right on track to becoming a first-time world champion. Guys, you don't have to agree with me. This is an interesting fight. It's going to be a close fight and a tough fight. In the comment section below, how do you see this one going? Do you think Catterall gets back on his winning ways, or do you think Harlem Eubank continues on his undefeated